Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new legal breaking reporting video analysis update. We have an update in regards to the lawsuit that was brought by Oregon and Portland officials against the Trump administration's illegal request by the Trump regime illegal deployment by the Trump regime and administration to deploy federal troops to the city of Portland. The new judge, even though legally I don't understand why Judge Michael Simmons needed to recuse himself, has concluded the new judge, Judge Kari, an unfortunate illegal Trump appointee, has concluded the hearing of the lawsuit and is expected to release a decision later today. Let's get into this new reporting. Ladies and gentlemen, in October 3, 2025, hearing, U.S. District Judge Judge Immergut concluded arguments over Oregon's lawsuit challenging the federal deployment of the National Guard to Portland and stated that a decision on the temporary restraining order could come later Friday, which is today, ladies and gentlemen, or tomorrow, Saturday, my editorial edition. Key details, ladies and gentlemen, from today's hearing. U.S. Judge skepticism. Judge Immergut, a Trump appointee, was highly skeptical of the Trump administration's justification for deploying the Guard. She questioned the government's arguments, repeatedly pointing to the lack of recent events in Portland, citing as justification for the deployment. When Deputy Assistant Attorney General Eric Hamilton mentioned some events after June and July, Immergut replied, quote, "Some events, and that's enough to call up the National Guard, ? Unquote. After hearing arguments from both sides, Judge Immergut did not issue an immediate ruling and indicated she would issue a written decision by the end of the day or the following day. The case was reassigned to Immergut after the initial judge, Judge Michael Simmons, recused himself on October 2. The Department of Justice had requested the recusal, citing a possible conflict of interest since Simmons' wife, Representative Susan Bonamici, Bonamici, Democrat, Oregon, had publicly opposed the deployment. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the background of the lawsuit. Oregon filed the lawsuit seeking to block the deployment, arguing that using the National Guard for civilian law enforcement is unconstitutional and violates the Posse Comitatus Act and the 10th Amendment. Governor Tina Kotek stated there was no insurrection and no need for military troops. The administration of Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen, my editorial edition, has argued the deployment is necessary to protect Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE facilities from protesters and cited old intelligence from June and July. The administration believes that protests constitute a rebellion that requires federal intervention. Ladies and gentlemen, no, it does not cause an intervention, or isn't an intervention of the federal government isn't needed during a protest. It is illegal and unconstitutional and unwarranted. Therefore, Donald Trump needs to be prosecuted. Regardless, I'm actively calling for his prosecution despite this bullshit immunity that the United States Supreme Court just whipped up out of thin air. Ladies and gentlemen, please be on the lookout for an update regarding the decision of Judge Immergut, as it is expected to come out today, later today that is, or tomorrow, at any time. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay safe, and please stay positive, and always look for the points of light in today's unfortunate illegal induced darkness caused by the Trump administration. And I look forward to talking to you guys in my next legal breaking reporting video analysis update.